The psytrance scene pulsed with a raw energy. It called to something deep inside me. The music vibrated through me. It was a symphony of electronic beats. I felt the urge to move, to dance, to lose myself in the rhythm. This was more than just music. This was a community, a tribe of like-minded souls seeking connection. The allure of this world was undeniable. I yearned to be a part of it, but something held me back. Siren beckoned, a haven for those seeking refuge in the embrace of psytrance. It promised a world of pulsating beats and shared experiences. I longed to immerse myself in its vibrant culture, to become one with the music and the people it united. Upon arriving, I felt an instant connection. The energy was electric. Strangers greeted each other with warm smiles and open arms. The music flowed through the air, a constant current of rhythm and sound. It was exhilarating, intoxicating even. Yet a part of me remained unsettled. The music, while captivating, lacked a certain something. It felt somewhat one-dimensional, lacking the depth and complexity I sought. My journey into the heart of psytrance was about more than just the music. It was a search for meaning, a yearning for something deeper than the everyday. I felt a primal pull towards shamanism, towards ancient wisdom and the power of ritual. I sensed that within the pulsating rhythms and hypnotic melodies there was a potential for healing, for transformation. I devoured books on shamanism, immersing myself in its history and practices. I felt a resonance, a deep connection to the shamans of old, those who walked between worlds, who healed with sound and spirit. I began to see the parallels between the ecstatic trance states induced by shamanic rituals and the experiences evoked by psytrance. Could music be a gateway to these altered states of consciousness? Could it be a tool for healing and self-discovery? My fascination with shamanism intensified. I delved deeper into its mysteries, studying ancient traditions and modern interpretations. I learned about the use of drums, rattles, and chanting to induce trance states, to connect with spirits and access hidden realms. I was particularly drawn to the concept of the shaman as a healer, a guide, and a conduit between the physical and spiritual worlds. Psychedelics, with their ability to shatter perceptions and open doors to the subconscious, became an integral part of my journey. I approached these substances with reverence, not as recreational drugs, but as sacred medicines. Under their influence, the world shimmered with newfound vibrancy. The music took on deeper meaning, revealing hidden layers of complexity and emotion. My psychedelic experiences were profound and often challenging, forcing me to confront my shadow self and unravel the complexities of my own mind. These journeys were not always pleasant, but they were always transformative. They stripped away my ego, revealing the interconnectedness of all things. I experienced a sense of unity, a dissolution of the boundaries between self and other that left me forever changed. The music, once a form of entertainment, became a soundtrack to these inner explorations, amplifying and guiding my journey. These experiences deepened my understanding of shamanism and its potential for healing. I began to see psychedelics not as an escape from reality, but as a tool for exploring the hidden depths of consciousness. I realized that these substances could be used to access altered states of consciousness, similar to those achieved through traditional shamanic practices. I felt a calling to integrate these insights into the psytrance culture, to shift the focus from hedonism to personal growth and spiritual exploration. However, I also witnessed firsthand the potential dangers of these powerful substances. I saw how easily they could be abused, leading to addiction, mental health issues, and spiritual bypassing. This fueled my desire to promote responsible and intentional use within the community, to emphasize the importance of integration and harm reduction. As I became more deeply immersed in the psytrance scene, a sense of disillusionment began to creep in. What had initially drawn me in, the sense of community, the shared love of music, the potential for spiritual exploration, was becoming overshadowed by something darker. Drugs, once seen as a tool for spiritual exploration, were now often used recreationally, fueling a culture of excess and escapism. The music, once a source of unity, was becoming increasingly commercialized. DJs were treated like rock stars, promoters prioritized profit over ethics, and the original spirit of the movement felt lost in a haze of consumerism. The sense of community I had initially experienced was fading, replaced by a more individualistic and competitive atmosphere. Greed and ego seemed to be taking hold, eroding the foundations of the culture I had come to love. The shamanic ideals I held dear felt increasingly at odds with the reality of the scene. The emphasis on hedonism and instant gratification clashed with the principles of self-discovery, personal responsibility, and respect for the sacred. I witnessed firsthand the dark side of psychedelic use, addiction, mental health crises, and a lack of integration leading to spiritual bypassing. The very tools that had the potential to heal and transform were being misused, perpetuating cycles of escapism and harm. This dissonance left me feeling deeply conflicted. I still believed in the transformative power of music and the potential for the psytrance community to be a force for good. The music scene in Siren throbbed with energy, but it wasn't my energy. The 150 BPM rhythm, while hypnotic, felt limiting. I craved something faster, something that matched the frenetic pace of my thoughts, the intensity of my experiences. I yearned to push the boundaries, to create a sound that reflected the future I envisioned. My experimentation began in my small studio, a sanctuary of wires, knobs, and glowing screens. I spent hours, days, weeks losing myself in the creative process. I blended the familiar psytrance elements with influences from other genres, the driving force of drum and bass, the intricate rhythms of breakbeat, the raw power of hardcore. The result was something entirely new, a sonic tapestry woven from the threads of my imagination. The music pulsed with a frenetic energy, a whirlwind of sound that reflected the chaos and beauty of the world I experienced. I increased the BPM, pushing past the accepted limits. 152, 155, 160. Each increment felt like a rebellion, a challenge to the status quo. The term high-tech psytrance emerged organically, a perfect encapsulation of the music's essence. It was high-tech in its sonic complexity, its fusion of genres, its relentless push for innovation. But it was also high-tech in a deeper sense, reflecting a state of mind, a way of approaching life with a heightened awareness, a thirst for knowledge and experience. This was not just about dancing, it was about transcendence through technology. The music was a tool, a catalyst for reaching altered states of consciousness, for tapping into the primal energy that pulsed within us all. I envisioned a new kind of shamanism, one that embraced the tools of the 21st century, that used technology to facilitate spiritual growth and exploration. The faster BPMs were not just about energy, they were about pushing physical and mental limits. Dancing to this music was like an intense workout, a way to exhaust the body and quiet the mind, creating a fertile ground for introspection and spiritual insight. I believed that this could be a pathway to a deeper understanding of ourselves and the universe, a way to connect with the divine through the power of sound and movement. The music spread organically, like a virus, infecting the minds and bodies of those hungry for something new. It started with a small group of friends, fellow seekers drawn to the intensity and the promise of something more. We shared the music at underground parties, in makeshift venues, the energy of our collective excitement electrifying the air. Word of mouth spread faster than any marketing campaign. People were drawn to the raw energy, the sense of possibility, the feeling of being on the cutting edge of something extraordinary. High-tech psytrance became more than just music. It became a movement, a collective awakening, a shared desire to break free from the constraints of the ordinary. I poured my heart and soul into every track, infusing the music with my own experiences, my own longing for connection, my own belief in the power of music to heal and transform. I saw it as a gift, a transmission of positive energy, a sonic vibration designed to uplift and inspire. My greatest hope was that this music would create a new kind of community, one that transcended the divisions of the past, one that was united by a shared love of music and a commitment to personal growth. I envisioned a world where people came together to dance, to connect, to explore the outer reaches of consciousness, and to support each other on their individual journeys. High-tech psytrance exploded in popularity, exceeding my wildest expectations. It spread like wildfire through the global psytrance community and beyond, igniting dance floors from the deserts of Israel to the forests of Brazil. The music, once confined to the fringes, was now being played at major festivals, embraced by a new generation hungry for its raw energy and ecstatic potential. Yet with this success came a growing unease, the very thing I had sought to address. The shadow side of psychedelic culture seemed to be amplified by the music's intensity. The faster BPMs, intended to push boundaries and facilitate a natural high, became inadvertently associated with increased drug consumption. People were seeking ever more intense experiences, chasing the peak, pushing their bodies and minds to the limit. What was once a subculture built on principles of peace, love and unity was now attracting a darker element, drawn to the hedonistic excesses that often accompanied the scene. I witnessed firsthand the consequences of this shift. At festivals and parties, I saw people losing themselves in a haze of drugs, their eyes glazed over, their bodies moving mechanically to the beat. The sense of community, of shared purpose, was often replaced by a sense of isolation, of individuals lost in their own chemically induced realities. The music, once a tool for connection, was becoming a catalyst for disconnection. The shamanic ideals I held dear, the emphasis on personal responsibility, respect for the sacred, and integration of experience, were being overshadowed by a culture of instant gratification and escapism. The drugs of choice began to change, reflecting a broader societal shift towards harder, more synthetic substances. LSD and mushrooms, once staples of the psychedelic experience, were increasingly replaced by MDMA, cocaine, ketamine, and speed. The focus shifted from introspection and spiritual exploration to hedonism and escapism. The dance floor, once a sacred space for ritual and release, was becoming a free-for-all of chemical experimentation, often with disastrous consequences. I saw friendships crumble under the weight of addiction, creative spirits extinguished by substance abuse. The sense of community, once so strong, was fraying at the edges, replaced by paranoia, competition, and a pervasive sense of unease. It felt like a betrayal, a perversion of everything I had hoped high-tech psytrance would represent. The music itself seemed to be changing, reflecting the darker undercurrents of the scene. Producers, caught up in the whirlwind of success and pressured to deliver ever more intense experiences, began incorporating harsher sounds, distorted bass lines, and chaotic rhythms into their tracks. The music, once a reflection of my own journey towards enlightenment, was now mirroring the descent into darkness that I saw unfolding around me. The innocence of those early days, the sense of wonder and shared discovery, felt lost in the haze of chemical excess. I missed the simplicity of gathering under the stars, united by a shared love of music and a desire to connect with something larger than ourselves. I longed for the days when the dance floor felt like a sacred space, a place where we could shed our inhibitions, celebrate our humanity, and tap into the primal power of rhythm and sound. The commercialization of the scene only exacerbated the problem. Festivals, once intimate gatherings, became massive money-making enterprises, more concerned with profit margins than the well-being of their attendees. The music, once a labor of love, was now a commodity packaged and sold to the highest bidder. The soul of the movement, it seemed, was being slowly eroded by greed and exploitation. I felt increasingly alienated from the very culture I had helped create. My attempts to speak out against the excesses, to promote responsible drug use and a return to the original values of the psytrance movement were met with resistance, even hostility. Driven by a desire to reclaim the soul of psytrance, I poured my energy into creating Noisepoison Festival. I envisioned a haven where music and nature could coexist, where community and responsibility were paramount. Drawing on my experiences at countless festivals, I sought to create something different, something better. Securing a location was a challenge in itself. I wanted a pristine environment, a place of natural beauty that would inspire awe and respect. After months of searching, I found it, a secluded valley nestled within a national park, untouched and serene. It took immense effort to secure the necessary permits to convince skeptical authorities that our intentions were pure. But I was determined to create a festival that honored both the power of music and the sanctity of nature. Noisepoison was meticulously crafted to foster a sense of community. We implemented strict environmental guidelines, promoting leave no trace principles and encouraging attendees to take responsibility for their impact. The musical lineup was carefully curated, showcasing both established and up-and-coming artists who embodied the spirit of high-tech psytrance. We offered workshops on topics ranging from yoga and meditation to permaculture and sustainability, aiming to create a holistic experience that went beyond just the music. The festival was a success, at least on the surface. Despite our best efforts, Noisepoison became a microcosm of the very problems I had hoped to address. The pristine environment we had fought so hard to protect was littered with trash. Attendees, caught up in the frenzy of the festival, seemed oblivious to the impact of their actions. The sense of responsibility I had tried to instill felt woefully inadequate. The drug use, while perhaps not overtly more prevalent than at other festivals, felt different. It was as if the intensity of the music, the very energy I had sought to harness, amplified the darker aspects of psychedelic experimentation. I witnessed people losing themselves in the vortex of altered states, their connection to the present moment, to each other and to the natural world, severed by the chemicals coursing through their veins. The aftermath of the festival was even more disheartening. The beautiful valley we had called home for a few short days was left scarred and wounded. The cleanup effort was Herculean, a stark reminder of the disconnect between our aspirations and our actions. I had poured my heart and soul into creating a sustainable, conscious event, but the system, it seemed, was rigged against us. The experience left me deeply disillusioned. I had poured my heart and soul into Noisepoison, sacrificing time, energy, and financial security in pursuit of a vision. But instead of finding a solution, I had encountered a mirror, reflecting back the very problems I had sought to escape. The sense of betrayal was profound, not from any one individual, but from the system itself, a system that seemed to reward greed, exploitation, and disregard for the very things I held sacred. Adding insult to injury, I became the target of online attacks. Former friends and collaborators, envious of my success or perhaps threatened by my message, spread rumors and lies, twisting past mistakes and vulnerabilities into weapons of mass destruction. The same community that had once embraced me now seemed eager to tear me down. The experience left me questioning everything. Was my vision for a more conscious and responsible psytrance culture simply naive? Was the very nature of this music, its ability to induce altered states and unleash primal energies, inherently incompatible with the ideals I held dear? Had I, in my quest to push boundaries and explore new sonic territories, unwittingly unleashed a force I could not control? The echoes of betrayal reverberated through my life, shaking the very foundations of my being. Silence descended, a stark contrast to the pulsating rhythms that had dominated my world. I stepped away from the stage, the festival circuit, the very scene that had both ignited and broken my spirit. The betrayal, the disillusionment, the sheer exhaustion, it all became too much. I retreated into myself, seeking solace in the quiet corners of my soul. For a while there was only silence, a deafening void where the music used to be. But slowly, organically, something began to shift within me. The music, once a cacophony of external sounds, began to emerge from a deeper place, a wellspring of creativity that no external force could extinguish. It was a subtler sound, more introspective, less concerned with pushing boundaries and more focused on exploring the inner landscapes of my being. This new music was not bound by genre or tempo. It flowed freely, organically, like water finding its own level. I experimented with ambient textures, ethereal melodies, rhythms inspired by the natural world. The frenetic energy of high-tech psytrance gave way to a gentler, more healing sound, a reflection of my own journey towards wholeness. Their response was a balm to my wounded spirit. They heard the pain, the vulnerability, the hard-won wisdom woven into the very fabric of the sound. They recognized the authenticity, the raw honesty that can only come from having walked through the fire and emerged, singed but not broken, on the other side. This small, intimate sharing rekindled a spark within me. I realized that while the mainstream psytrance scene may have lost its way, the essence of what I had sought to create, a community united by music, a space for healing and transformation, still existed. It just looked different than I had imagined. I began to explore other avenues for sharing my music and my message. I connected with yoga teachers, meditation guides, and sound healers, souls who understood the power of sound to facilitate healing and transformation. I offered my music for workshops, retreats, and ceremonies, creating sonic landscapes for inner exploration and collective journeys. The focus shifted from outward expression to inward reflection. The frenetic energy of the dance floor gave way to the quiet stillness of meditation, the ecstatic release of movement replaced by the subtle vibrations of sound resonating through the body, calming the mind and opening the heart. The shaman within, once overshadowed by the noise and chaos, re-emerged, stronger and wiser for having navigated the darkness. The sun dips below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange, purple and gold. A gentle breeze whispers through the trees, carrying the scent of sage and the distant echo of drums. The festival grounds, once a whirlwind of activity, are now bathed in a soft, ethereal light. A sense of peace descends, a stark contrast to the frenetic energy that pulsed through these very grounds just hours ago. I sit alone, contemplating the journey that led me to this moment. The rise and fall of high-tech psytrance, the triumphs and the heartbreaks, the lessons learned and the wisdom gained, it's all a part of my story. A tapestry woven from threads of passion, disillusionment, and ultimately a deep and abiding love for the transformative power of music. The scene has changed, as all things must. The frenetic energy has given way to something more introspective, more grounded. The pursuit of hedonistic highs has been tempered by a growing awareness of the importance of intention, responsibility, and the interconnectedness of all things. There's a new generation emerging, one that seeks more than just a fleeting escape from reality. They crave connection, authenticity, and a deeper understanding of themselves and the world around them. My role in this evolving landscape is still unfolding. I no longer seek to control the direction of the music or dictate the terms of engagement. Instead, I offer my gifts freely, humbly, as a form of service to those who resonate with my sound, my message, my journey. The music continues to flow, but it's different now, more organic, more aligned with the rhythms of nature, the beating of my own heart. It's a sound that invites introspection, that holds space for both joy and sorrow, that acknowledges the light and the shadow within us all. The shaman's call is a whisper, not a shout. It's a gentle invitation to look within, to connect with the wisdom of our ancestors, to honor the sacredness of our bodies, our minds, and our spirits. It's a reminder that the true journey is not about escaping reality, but about embracing it fully, with all its complexities and contradictions. To those who hear the call, I offer my hand in friendship. Let us walk this path together with open hearts and open minds, creating a new paradigm for music and community, one that honors the past, embraces the present, and steps boldly into the future. The journey is far from over, but I am filled with a sense of hope, knowing that we are not alone.